Hey, I'm Midja, and those of you who know me well know that I love a good cocktail. And this week I spoke to a group of leaders about the cocktail that you should be serving your people every single day. And I call it the wellness cocktail. And it's really easy to remember if you think about the acronym DOSE. So D is for dopamine, O is for oxytocin, S is for serotonin, and E is for endorphins. And if we mix all those together and give that cocktail to our people every single day, they're going to be happy and they're going to be productive. So how do you do that as a leader? Well, dopamine first. You don't want too much. It can get a bit addictive. So we want a little bit of dopamine in our cocktail. And this is released when we anticipate something in the future, when we achieve that goal that we've set ourselves. So as a leader, what you want to do is be setting goals, stretch goals for your people, but things that they can achieve. You also want to be always giving them something to look forward to. So culturally, I talk about daily, weekly, monthly, 6-monthly, and yearly rituals. So you give people some goals, something to look forward to, something unexpected. So they're thinking they're getting this and then they get that. That will give them the dopamine hit. Now, secondly, you want oxytocin. And oxytocin is often referred to as the love hormone. So, we get oxytocin when we give people big hugs, which some people do in the workplace, depends on your culture. But what you can do to release oxytocin is to develop empathy in your people. And as a leader, share more of who you are. Be vulnerable, tell your story, what you like, what you don't like, your upbringing, your values, your beliefs. Tell your story and your client's stories and make that connection, and the result will be oxytocin. Right, the next thing we want in our cocktail is serotonin. And this really regulates our mood when this is released. And one way of doing this as a leader is to remind people of their past achievements, the great things that they've done. So having conversations around, the last year's performance, remember when you started to where you are now, let's look at everything that you've achieved. What about that client feedback you got on that last project? So talk to people about what they've achieved and make them feel good about those past events. And then finally, we want a good helping of endorphins in our cocktail for our people. Now, of course, often we hear about exercise giving us endorphins, which is great. But another way to get them is just through laughter and keeping things fun and keeping things light. So as leaders, that's our responsibility as well. And as I've said before, we can take our work really seriously, but not ourselves. We need to lighten up and to create a fun, vibrant environment and culture in our workplaces. Do all of those 4 things, and that will produce the wellness cocktail. And so important when we look at the research around the amount of stress and mental illness that we're seeing because of the work that people are doing and how people feel about their work. So I'm Midja. Bye guys.